There's a lot we don't know yet, but there's a lot we do know. The parents who will never see their child again, never have them jump in bed and cuddle with them. Parents who will never be the same. To lose a child is like having a piece of your soul ripped away.
There is nothing more evil than violent criminals who target children, and especially young children.
My heart was broken today. We're a small community, and we will need your prayers to get us through this.
Not again. That is the overwhelming sentiment felt across the country tonight and here in the state of Texas after more innocent lives are lost in a mass shooting, this time at an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas.
We've just learned the death toll is up to 19 children and 2 school employees gunned down during their last week of school. Police say the 18-year-old suspect shot his grandmother before the rampage and then was shot and killed by responding officers. It happened at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, which is about 2 hours west of San Antonio. It's the kind of small town, you know what they say, everybody knows everybody else. We have extensive team coverage for you tonight.
But first, Anayeli Ruiz and Xavier Walton are both in Uvalde tonight. Xavier, we begin with you.
Len, Mia, those disturbing details you just described, all of it unfolding behind me here. That's where the school is, down this road, a road now all of these families are walking together. A few blocks away from Tuesday's tragedy.
By the blood of Jesus Christ.
Families joined hands in prayer. Chris Martinez is especially thankful. 2 of his kids go to Robb Elementary, and his wife works there.
My wife, my son were there. My daughter was there, but I picked her up that same morning.
2 days before the school year ends, evidence of yet another deadly mass shooting in America. Kids taking cover and searching for safety as a gunman opened fire.
The suspect did act alone.
Officials say around 11 a.m., Salvador Ramos abandoned his truck before going on a shooting rampage inside of the school. CBS News reporting Ramos had a handgun and a rifle. Authorities say he was shot and killed by responding officers.
To the people of Uvalde, please know that this is a room full of leaders who grieve with you. And we are praying for you, and we stand with you.
Standing together like Chris Martinez and families that are forever changed.
What if it was my son or my daughter? I don't know.
A lot of what ifs and also a lot of questions. Families saying, I don't know. They want to know answers. And that's what they're searching for here in Uvalde. I'll send it back to you.
Xavier Walton walking us through this most difficult day and events. Thank you.
Anayeli Ruiz is also in Uvalde tonight. Anayeli, we understand some families still waiting to find out if their loved ones are among the victims.
That's right, guys. We're outside the Civic Center, and families actually rushed inside just a few minutes ago, hoping to find out those details. We know some families have been coming out crying, wailing, and I know that some of those families are probably finding the terrible news out that they always dreaded. And of course, we've been speaking to families all day here, wanting to get any kind of information on their loved ones. You know, the last time that they saw their kids was when they went to school this morning, and they never imagined that something like this would happen on the last week of school. But we did speak with one man, Jesse Rodriguez. He says he was looking for his daughter, Annabelle Guadalupe Rodriguez, 10-year-old third grader. He says Annabelle's cousin was killed, and he's just praying and hoping that his daughter wasn't among those who were tragically shot here today.
They didn't have a list for her name in here, so she's not here. So we're going to head on down Hondo and then San Antonio till we find her.
Not losing hope, huh?
No, well, I mean, I'll fill up the tank and I'll look all night if I have to. I got to find her.
And again, parents tell me they've been going inside one by one, giving investigators a DNA swab to hopefully help them identify some of the victims. But again, no word yet. They're hoping to find out more information after 10 o'clock. So we're just waiting to hear from some of the parents as they come out. Reporting live in Uvalde, Anayeli Ruiz, KHOU 11 News.
President Biden called Governor Greg Abbott today, offering any help needed to respond to the shooting. The president also ordered flags be flown at half-staff at the White House in honor of the victims and addressed the nation tonight about gun violence in the country.
Why do we keep letting this happen? Where in God's name is our backbone to have the courage to deal with it and stand up to the lobbies? It's time to turn this pain into action. For every parent, for every citizen in this country, we have to make it clear to every elected official in this country, it's time to act.
Today's tragedy comes just one day after a new FBI report finds active shootings are on the rise, up more than 50% this year compared to last year. Investigative reporter Cheryl Mercedes taking a closer look at that report tonight. Cheryl?
Len, this annual report details 61 mass shootings that happened last year. And according to the data, Texas and Georgia had the second most, behind California with 5 incidents in each state.
This FBI report detailed how 2021 saw the highest number of deaths since 2017. 103 people were killed, 140 people wounded in 61 active shootings in 30 states last year. 32 active shooter incidents happened in areas the FBI referred to as commerce environments, like grocery stores and manufacturing sites. 19 happened in open spaces, like highways and public parks. 3 happened on government property, 2 at schools. The report also highlights the time of day the shootings took place. The data shows an active shooting is more likely to happen between 6 a.m. and 5:59 p.m., with most of them happening in the middle of the day. The agency also released stats on the shooters. Last year, all but 1 were male. 18 were between the ages of 25 and 34. 24 fell in the 19 to 24 age group. 2 of the shooters were 18 or younger.
The report also uncovers what happened to the shooters. Nearly half were apprehended, 19 were killed, and 1 is still at large. And in all 61 incidents, the FBI says the gunman acted alone. Mia?
Thanks for that overview, Cheryl. Let's bring in Gerald Harris now as our coverage continues. Gerald, you had a chance to speak to Harris County Judge Alina Hidalgo, who just spoke about a rise in gun violence in Harris County. This all ahead of the NRA convention, which is coming to town. What is she telling you tonight?
Yeah, Judge Hidalgo is drawing a straight line from the rise in gun violence to the NRA, and the NRA will be holding their annual meeting here at the George R. Brown Convention Center this weekend. Hidalgo says we cannot talk about addressing violent crime without also talking about the role that guns play in violent crime in the face of rising crime here in Harris County and across Texas. Tonight she questions how much longer will the interests of the gun lobby be placed over the lives of innocent people.
I think if the NRA had any heart, that right now they should be thinking about canceling that convention, that they shouldn't come and rub this in the face of Texans. And I know, the data shows, the surveys show that it's a bipartisan agreement. Generally, the general consensus amongst everyday people in the state and in this country is that common sense gun safety policies are the way to go.
And the NRA is responding, saying politicians like Judge Hidalgo embraces policies that release violent criminals onto streets without a hint of justice, while the NRA champions the right of law-abiding gun owners to defend themselves, their loved ones, and their homes, adding while Hidalgo continues to side with criminals, the NRA makes no apology for standing with law-abiding citizens. Now, there will be several lawmakers speaking at this weekend's NRA convention, including Representative Dan Crenshaw, Senator Ted Cruz, Governor Greg Abbott, and the former President of the United States, Donald Trump. Back to you.
All right, Gerald, thank you. There was a prayer vigil tonight outside the Mickey Leland Federal Building in downtown Houston. A small crowd lit candles in memory of those lost, among them local activists and politicians, and a number of children also attending this vigil. And a Houston ISD trustee said school shootings are everyone's problem.
This is not Democrat, this is not Republican, this is our babies. And y'all ought to be mad as hell. Everybody ought to be mad as hell. Because we can't keep doing this.
Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee said there needs to be renewed dialogue about gun access, something many oppose. Meantime, the organization Fiel Houston called on the NRA to cancel its annual meeting set to take place, as we mentioned, later this week in Houston. Columbine, Sandy Hook, Santa Fe, just some of the other horrific school shootings in this country, and there's no telling when it will happen again.
And this and what has tragically played out today can be tough to talk to your kids about. So Lauren Tallarico is getting some advice from the experts about dealing with this scary topic.
Can you please introduce yourself?
I'm Marnie Axelrad. I'm a pediatric psychologist and clinic chief of the psychology service at Texas Children's Hospital.
How do you talk to your kids about something like this?
It's a good question, and it largely depends on how old they are. With young children, if there's a way to shield them, do so. If there's not a way to shield them, the best approach is the most simple approach. So yes, something terrible happens today. It's a tragedy. And what questions do you have about that, and how are you feeling? For older children, it's important to talk to them honestly, to still ask them what they know and ask them what they feel, but also talk about how you feel within reason. Really having to talk you down or having your children having to reassure you that they're safe when they go to school isn't what we want to see happen.
What do you say to your children if they say, I'm afraid to go to school?
It's important to validate their feelings. I hear that you're afraid. This thing happened at school, which is supposed to be just as safe as home for you. If they say, I'm afraid to go to school, please let me stay home. Letting them stay home actually is just going to exacerbate their fear and anxiety, and not sending your children to school drives home a message to them that school isn't a safe place. And what we do know is that school really is a safe place most of the time.
For the full interview and resources for parents, head to KHOU.com. We'll be sure to stay on top of any new developments that come out of Uvalde on air, online, along with our KHOU 11 app.